Oh, look at you, JJ. Thank you, JJ. Hello, guys. Welcome to Stormlord's Wrath once again. We are here. Drex has dice now. Woo! So, we're going to go straight into the synopsis. We are missing one. We hope Evil is feeling better soon. We started our episode last week in the Mirror of Dead Men in the marshlands. The heroes fought a hydra that was being captured for a new circus by some not-so-smart individuals. Thanks to Ima's abilities at tracking, the party made their way through the swamp, tracking the strange indentations in the ground, when they found a traveling nomadic tribe of lizard folk with flail snails pulling the lost patrol in cages. Not sure whether to kill this group or talk to them, they go over options hidden in the bushes and ferns. They witness the lizard folk feeding and caring for the patrol and talking amongst one another. Radolak mentions an interest in riding one of the snails. Zenora feels they might be friendly, and Ima tries to talk to a passing snail meeting Geraldine, who tells Ima that they're friendly folk. Radolak goes out with his hands up, followed by the others, causing the tribe to point their spears at them, speaking in their tongue. The leader, called Hussein, and his render slosh attempt making a weary greeting. The party learns from them that they're running from rot trolls that have taken over the forest and pushed them out of their home. Oh, you haven't been able to get in a foundry? Okay, I will work on it. But the
for fuck's sake.
Satik's in the background. The leader is saying his slash make a weary greeting. The party learns that they're running from the rock trolls, and one of the outspoken patrolmen tries to bribe the party to let them out, but the party chooses to help the lizard folk instead by camping with them and hunting with them for food. Vilfin and Radolak join a hunting party and make some traps to catch some boars. Zenora talks with one of the females, Salisa, and finds that they shared the same mentor as she showed her necklace with the same emblem. Salisa is about to lay a clutch of eggs and asks to be godparents of the hatchlings when the time comes. Zenithor and Ima walk a patrol around the perimeter of the camp and have a heartfelt talk about their place in the team and where it's going. Vilfin and Radolak talk about Vilfin's wife a little bit and why he left his home. Radolak offers the mirror in a kind gesture, but Vilfin refuses it, saying that the gift was for him. Ima reads his literature, and Vilfin carves a gift for Ima from the boar bone that he had hunted. Hussein gave you all a vial of red powder and says to use it on the fire to signal them. He agrees if you establish an alliance to Leilon, they would be willing to listen. Zenithor hands the chief his spear as a gesture of friendship, and the chief reciprocates with his own handcrafted spear. And Radolak contemplates 3 more days from now. So you guys are at the camp. We will put you in the morning. Vilfin has talked to you all after his morning ritual, and he has wanted to stay back and kind of secure some trade goods that kind of go over with the lizard tribe to make sure that they have the right goods to trade with when the time comes. Kind of go on a hunting party with them, establish some communications with them, and you guys have agreed to that. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do?
So just to let you know, Zenora's cast water breathing ritually. So all the party members, including Vilfin, the soldiers in the cage, because I can have up to 10, and Cilicia, because
we like Cilicia.
Because I had one more. Why not? She's going to go to Cilicia. I'm just gonna go. I don't know. So how will you let me know about when I need to come for the babies?
We will find you. We will find you.
So Zenora gets from her pack She's only got one of them because they're too big. The other four are with Thea.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to grab one of the dragon scales, and she's going to have to go, take this. Maybe it might, I don't know what to do with it. I thought it might protect. Dragon scales are supposed to be hard. Just protect babies.
Oh, thank you. Well, this
And
will be very good.
yes, so I don't know if it will work or anything, but it gift, hopefully protect.
Oh, when you come back, I will have gift for you.
No. Gift, being godmother is gift.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. And she curtsies a little bit and looks over it very lovingly. She's loving the dragon scale a lot. Does anyone else wanted to do anything before Hussein comes toward you guys?
Nat will also walk up to Solicitor after Z's probably walked away, and it just says, whatever gift you have given my sister Zenora, I thank you. She's had a lot to process since I've come back, and it's been very hard on her. Whatever you did for her, I can see a new flame inside. So I thank you for that, and I'm indebted to you.
I did nothing. She did herself. But she will help with ritual and make the baby strong and blessed. And then she points and says, do it to her emblem. And you would have seen Zenora's emblem around her neck, so you can see it's the same emblem.
Yeah, Nat will take note of that, and just nod sagely, just sort of, I understand.
Come back soon. We'll let you know when baby's ready.
Oh, don't you worry. Sonora will make sure that I come back.
Very good. Keep her safe.
I will.
Ema, Radolak. Anything you want to do? Or you just kind of following the party for the morning?
Radolak's contemplating that snail ride, and he's like, maybe next time. maybe next time.
Ema, is there anything you wanted to do?
No, I'm
Okay, you good? Because Hussein is walking over, funny you should mention, with the flail snails here. And he has brought 5. And he is like, we travel surprisingly quicker through quicksand and such with snails. You hop on, we track, we go. Take you to road. And there are 4, but Hussein's going to ride the Geraldine. Of course, that's his snail. So you each have a snail to ride, and they'll help you up if you are having trouble. And the snails just kind of sit there. Geraldine, once you all get on, activates one of her little fun powers that they have. And you hear Hussein go, look away, look south. And as you guys hopefully follow, if you don't, let me know, a light appears in just a spectrum of different colors from her shell. And she's just beaming, and it's very bright, and then it dies down. If you look back, you'll see like prisms of color off her shell as she's going to light the way. We go. And you are going to travel toward the high road. It seems like they're kind of following their tracks. Slash will be ahead sometimes on foot, looking here and there at different things. You're not really sure. He's probably looking at different tracks, Emo would think. And you make it toward the high road. The patrolmen, the 4 patrol, the 3 men and 1 woman, they are following on foot. They haven't really left a good mark on the lizard folk, so they don't really get a free ride, just because of the one. But they're not complaining. They just want to get free. So as you guys make it to the road, they kind of untie their binds and let them loose. The one that had the bloody nose and was causing trouble, he kind of takes it easy, puts his hands up, backs away, and he's going to take off running for Leilon. And Hussein helps Zenora down if she needs it, helps either all of you, and takes his spear and nods at you in a goodbye. It's up to you guys what you want to do.
So Nora's gonna go to Celicia and go hug. You know, as a question, like to hug.
She just mimics what you're doing.
I'll give her a proper hug and see what she does.
She's like, okay.
And you'll protect the babies and you'll be safe. You'll be safe.
You'll be safe too. We meet again. Don't get eaten by trolls.
I'll try not to. And I'll step away and be safe. And I'll nod to the rest of them and go, you be safe. You protect her.
We always protect the mothers. Very good.
Radolak jumps down from his snail and he sort of pats its shell. He's like, I hope I wasn't too heavy. I had a few more pork pies than I was supposed to the last. He just bats it again.
His eye stalks point towards you, and he kind of just does this slimy little ripply slurp on your hand. So you're not sure what that means, but it might be something good.
Hey. Radolak could smile anyway.
Emo will get down and he will thank and bow to the snail. Thank you for the ride. That's much appreciated. And sort of stroke the back of the snail's slimy bit. And then he'll go to Geraldine and say, thank you for your glowing show. That was very impressive. Hopefully we'll meet again. And pet you like you would a cat.
She says, you be good.
And you too.
And they bow their eye stalks. And so he says, we'll wait. We'll watch for signal. When you return, we'll send scouts. And
he grabbed the powder off of Vilfin. Because
he
has the powder.
probably did. Once he said he was going to stay, he probably gave you the powder.
Alright, I'll have the powder.
And waved goodbye to you guys. He was probably on a hunting party. Actually, now that I think about it, for the morning foods. Trying to secure, establish a good connection between the two. And Hussein takes his spear and gives Zenithor, the warrior, kind of elbow to elbow handshake and goodbye.
Reciprocates and says, friend.
Friend. And then they walk away and into the jungle. They almost, you'd think with the frills, the bright frills, they would be noticeable, but they just perfectly blend in to the lush swamp ferns, and it's like they were never there.
Now we have 3 of the original scouting party with us.
Yeah, you have the 3, the woman and Private Jessup, and another man.
So we return
Yeah,
back with the patrol.
I wanna ask the patrol as we're walking, because this we will be walking back. So how much trouble is he going to cause?
Well, he can try to cause as much trouble as he wants, the female's talking. But Griselda, she's a pretty stern woman. She's gonna take it with a grain of salt, I think. It depends on if he reaches Haziorum first or the council. So
I feel like our first point of call will probably have to be to Griselda and the council. And I'm saying this so the rest of the group can hear.
He said he had a very important father. Who may that be?
Oh, I think it's a lieutenant for Lord Neverember. Neverwinter?
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He just thinks because he's some rich kid he can get whatever he wants. Griselda's a dwarf though. She loves riches, but she doesn't care about it. Like, orders are orders, so.
I had a funny feeling when he said he had money that he might be that far up.
I think it's kind of just to show his ability to be on his own away from his father. So.
Well,
it's
clearly
going
he
really
can show
well.
how well he can be away from his father.
Private Jessup's laughing.
Let me guess. He was the idiot that attacked them first.
Yeah. Private Jessup's like, yeah. Yeah. He is very anti-everything except himself. So.
Got that.
Yeah. But he doesn't know that you guys know. I'm assuming you guys know the Council in Leilon since you know who Griselda is, so.
Yes, and his fear of Griselda was rather interesting. So that's why I suggest we perhaps go to the council rather than the lieutenant.
The sergeant is part of the council, so.
Well, the sergeant's not part of the council.
No.
He just takes orders from the council. Marigold and Valdi and Griselda make up the council.
Well, I know that Marigold likes Ema and has been helping Ema. And Griselda, she seems very fair but stern. Fair, though.
What is your impression of the sergeant?
That's our boss, sir.
Doesn't mean you don't have an opinion of your boss.
If we aren't relaying opinions of our boss, I think he'd piss his pants if he were out here on his own.
Oh no, we saw that he did piss his pants. Don't worry about that. So it's good.
I think he's incompetent. And he sits in his chair and lets us do all the work. But
no, this won't be relayed back. This is more to get general understanding. So,
well,
yeah.
I don't mind. I take orders. I get paid. It's helping build the town. Eventually, I'm going to settle down and have kids of my own, so it's a good job.
And who's talking? Is this Jessup?
This is
The one-
Jessup.
Yeah. You said you had a girl? It was what was her name?
Oh, my friend. She's a friend. Brotora. She's
A daughter.
yeah. She's
And I'm going to look. Do I get the impression that he would like there to be more?
roll insight, and I'll roll a d6 to see what he thinks.
Insight?
Yeah.
Even with that lower roll, it's still a 12.
He has a little side smirk, and he looks down like he's kind of thinking about her a little. But that could be like they're really good friends, or you know, you kind of think, oh, I might need to watch more. I don't know. So
Radolak's walking forward and he like turns around and starts walking back. So it's like, that's really successful mission. We barely had to kill anyone and we made friends. Look. We're really growing as a team, I think. Yeah? No? And that
Nate will just give Radolak just a hearty pat on the back. Kind of at the foot of the time being, just keeps that his response to himself at a more appropriate time.
Emo, what are you thinking?
Many, many wonderful things, but email would just smile.
Emo's just smiling.
Nora's not quite sure how to respond to that.
But it appears that I don't need to be the negotiator for such situations. Hell, boy, Radolak here did a pretty good job.
Yeah. And then we left Vilfin.
Oh.
I'm sure it'll be fine. He's like,
I mean, he chose to stay behind.
It's not that that's not what we mean. No,
"I
I'm
don't
sure it'll be
seem
fine.
to have any buds."
That reminds me, I need to put Sirenscape on.
That was quiet. No, I think he'll be fine. I think Vilfin will be fine with the whole warrior aspect and helping them out.
Yeah, strengthening the deals between Leilon and did they have a name? I want to just call them lizard people.
Did we get what I said?
I don't think you asked what they call themselves as a tribe.
Actually, alright, nature check, would I know?
Let's write it down for next time.
Because you weren't really sure about the language they were speaking and stuff, we're gonna say that you probably aren't familiar with them, but it is something now that's mentioned you can ask when you come back. They didn't seem offended, they're just quiet or anything, so.
But to be fair, I just know them as a tribe, and the guy at the shop said that they were like lizard folks, so
Ooh.
maybe, because he suggested there was a possibility.
What about this? The Riders of the Snail.
Sounds like a stormy song. I don't know. What he did call them lizard folk. Maybe we could perhaps ask him if that is what they're called.
Alright.
But yeah, to be fair, it's Alicia and Hussein, and you know, they're the ones that their names matter, not so much the, what they're called, I guess.
As you make your way towards Leilon, the sounds of the marsh kind of start to fade, and the sounds of Leilon start to come into view. You see the town square where there was like a blacksmith spot, but there is no blacksmith there right now. I'm going to switch to the Leilon screen. So as you guys are looking at the town now, I'll activate it for you. You do hear the people talking, the seagulls from the waters. The remaining fishermen are trying to fish out on their flat boats. And people are kind of going about their business.
We made it to town in time for the meeting. What would normally be the meeting? Or are
It's
we a bit
about
past it?
midday. You could check in and see if they're there. Griselda could be there. She could be around. You could always check in. It's about 11ish.
How about we go to the council chambers and get these, and she'll gesture to the three. Make sure they get there safe. Finish the rest of our duty.
Agreed.
Yep. Sounds good. It's this way, right? No, wait. This way.
It's this way, the woman says. And she kind of
I'll follow you.
Well, yes.
So, as you guys head there, Braille Tora runs up and sees Jessup. She's like, Vester, oh my God, you're safe. Thank you. And she gives him a huge hug. She's a half orc, so she gives him this really big squeeze, almost lifting him up off his feet. And he's like, oh, it's good to see you. I've got a story to tell you about my week. And he starts walking off.
It's just as we thought it. Can we just go to the thing so we can finish it first? Because I have a funny feeling you're going to need to be there.
Okay. All right. I'll see you later, Patora. I'll be back.
I'll make sure he gets back to you. We got him this far, right?
And she nods. And as you guys make your way down to the fishery, you hear a lot of talking. You recognize the voice of the man that ran off. But as you go through the door, unless you guys are parting, you guys are all going in, you hear Griselda. Griselda's just kind of sitting on her table like this, leaning on the table. And Valdi is there. Marigold's not there. And Sergeant Yorm's door's open and he's not there. So she says, there you are.
I see you're running got you here before us. Interesting.
Yeah, he's a speedy little thing, isn't he?
Apparently. Bit quick off the draw, if I'm right to be told.
He's telling some fantastic stories about some snake-like people. Says they held you guys hostage.
Alright. So, no, they didn't hold us hostage. They locked them up because they attacked the lizard folk, is what they're called. And one of them was with egg. Ready to give birth.
I think this is what civilized people call cultural misunderstanding.
I think so. I also, I'm going to just step back and let Nate talk. Because I'm like, I probably shouldn't say anything.
Okay, so yeah, Nate will step forward.
Wagon of
And-
supplies. Did you guys see it?
Looked like the wagon was already somewhat destroyed by the time we got there. We followed tracks leading off into the marshlands where, with some good tracking skills by Ema over here, we're able to successfully navigate through the marsh to catch up to this lizardfolk tribe who, yes, did have your guards here in cages. From our observation, when they set up camp, they were fed, they were treated well, they were not harmed in any shape or form. We then, Radolak then approached the lizard folk with Vilfin in tow. We were able to negotiate and speak with them to understand that they were attacked first, and they only merely defended themselves. Hence why the guards were put, or the patrolmen were put in the cages.
That's a different story than I'm hearing. So,
We
And
also.
it wasn't until much later we understood why they were traveling. They were removed from their home by rot trolls. And to be able to successfully free the patrolmen, we were asked to dispatch of the rot trolls.
those are pretty vicious things, I've heard.
They definitely weren't fun. But luckily, they found us instead, and with the combined efforts of the lizard folk, they were successfully defeated.
Gabe, did you help at all? And that's the name of the first time you hear the name of the person that was running back and has the broken nose. Did any of you help? And he's like, nope, they had us chained up in cages the entire time. Or I definitely would have helped within my capacity.
You were crying. You were crying. Shut the
Z,
f up.
Z.
I might have had some swamp water in my eyes, but could have been
The
poison.
lizard folk were not prepared to release the patrolmen during the battle. What was negotiated was if we were able to deal with the rot trolls successfully, then the patrolmen would be released on good faith. And they lived up to their word. We spent the night with them. In the morning, they sent us back to the main road.
Do you have any guarantees that these people are gonna hold their promise to not attack my patrols?
They have requested
And-
trade.
Trade.
They have things, potentially Hydra blood for potions and many other items. Wilfen is currently staying back with them, so we're hoping that with his time spent there, he might be able to secure more trade negotiations. But the lizard folk are not prepared to trade on unless we are able to also give them good word that us here will provide, there will be a successful negotiation between two parties for the trade to happen. So no, there's no guarantee, but there's also no guarantee that future patrolmen might attack them.
Valdi leans down and whispers, Hydra blood is worth 1,000 gold. Griselda, it's something important for healing if this town's under attack. And she kind of just raises up again. She's very graceful in her movements, tall. And Griselda's just nodding, but still staring at all of you.
You motioned then the private to step forward. Maybe one of your other patrolmen be either to collaborate or deny our story.
And Private Jessup steps forward at his cue, and Garrick and I and Gabe here, what they say is true. We didn't all attack first, but we did get startled, and one of us attacked first, and therefore saw it as a threat, and we were taken to pretty much be bait for the rituals. But these people saved us, and presumably this tribe. I didn't hear everything they said, but I mean, they helped us get here, so.
One of the lizard folk is also waiting with egg, very heavily pregnant. I don't feel like the little people would be willing to put her at risk at all, and would not want to attack, more to defend.
Gabe starts talking. He's not listening to what you're saying. He's waving his hands. He's like, where's Sergeant Yoram? He's our boss, not you, Griselda. Like, I've been sent here from my father to make sure this town's safe. I don't really, maybe we should talk to him. And Griselda grips the desk and stands up. And she's like, Gabe, Leilon is a town of soldiers and fishermen and villagers, not a town for little whiners that are gonna run away from their patrol to tattletale on the rest of their fellow military men. Go back to your dad, tell him you're fired, and get the hell out of my town. And I don't want to see you anymore. Valdi, escort him out. And Valdi just nods and walks with him out as he is just yelling about threats to her and that she will not be able to rule this town for much longer. She just ignores him and looks at all of you. So trade. When do they want to do this trade? And what do they want in return? Food?
That is what Filfin is planning to work out between them. That's why he stayed back.
What can the town provide? They're a very nomadic tribe from our observations. Unfortunately, their dealings with the rot trolls severely dwindled their numbers, so...
I was listening to you guys talking about Martisha Vine Talker, I think her name was.
Yes.
I've talked to her. She's willing to sell us our cows and goats and all that other for supplies of the milk and cheese, like an even trade. Perhaps they would like things they're not used to, like different food. Obviously, they can do leathers and things like that. We could use some leathers, skins, for maybe some metal, spears and things like that they can use. We'll work it out.
They make beautiful spears.
Yeah.
I think some upgraded spears would be very appropriate for this tribe.
Right.
As Nate points to Mai, and he's pointing to his spear and his...
Yes.
So he removes the one that was given to him by Hussein and just puts it next to him and said, this is what they use.
This is fine craftsmanship for a nomadic tribe. You'd think it would be less intricate than this. We'll see what we can do. Valdi has a lot of fish coming in. They probably would love that. We'll see what we can trade.
It might be a case of food. I did notice that they were struggling with some rations as they were on the move. So.
We've got a blacksmith coming in today. You can talk to her in town. She should be arriving. Tell her I asked you to see about making some spearheads and probably some scimitars or something to cut through the jungle. I'm assuming they'd need. I forgot her name. She's a dwarf. You'll find her. Traveled from pretty far away. I don't know if she's there yet or not, but We still do have a tower problem that Sergeant
Yes.
Yorum's looking at. 3 of them, they refuse to go back in there. They're too afraid.
Yes, I was going to discuss this with the rest of the group as to what else is outstanding in terms of what you initially asked us to look into. That was definitely one on my list that I recall.
Oh, if you don't mind me interrupting, is there a place that can do supplies and stuff like that around? Things like components, just to make, if we need to do anything traveling-wise, easier.
So far, the blacksmith's all we've got. I don't know if there's any shops opening up. You might want to look around. Everyone's trying to start up a business around here. It might be able to help you.
Understand.
We
Thank you very
also
much.
have a little gnome named Pinchwit Wigglehoof or something weird. You know, gnomes, the names. I don't have time for it. But she's raising a herd of giant goats. Elmar Barthen, I don't know if you know him or not. He's trying to secure this trade between Neverwinter and Phandalin. She's supposed to deliver these giant goats. You should see her. Tiny gnome with giant goats. She's hilarious. Anyway, she's got a couple hundred. She needs help herding them to Phandalin. But it'll take you about a week. So, choose wisely.
I imagine the tower would be more of a priority over the goats.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about what's happening in the tower?
Galileo is up there. He's a wonderful wizard. He's there researching into all the books and what's happened. I forgot his last name. But he's up there. He never leaves the tower, ever. He's very dedicated. And the patrol are supposed to help him, but they keep running away. I haven't asked why yet, so we've sent Sergeant Yoram up there to kind of see what's going on. Strange things happen in the night. Something. Could be wise to bring your cleric, or maybe Marigold's not here. Maybe talk to Marigold. She might have some ideas. They're saying it's haunted.
Do you have any books on, or some parchment on the Swords of Leilon? Perhaps paintings or anything like that to see what they look like or anything like that?
Swords of Leilon. Ah, yeah. They're the heroes of this town. They used to be a shop around here with the paintings of them you can check out.
Oh,
I don't know if it's still
I think
there
I
or
may
not.
have seen that. Thank you. Thank you. Maybe it might be best to do some investigating before we go to town, but definitely we need to go to the town. I have a hunch about something, so I just want to make sure I'm not going to.
Well, it's happened over the last couple of days. Sergeant Yorm's been going back and forth. So you have time if you want to look around and check in on him. Do what you gotta do.
Okay. With that, I'll turn around and say to Griselda and the 3 patrol people. If you don't mind, I'm going to go outside. If you don't need me any further, and I'll bow politely and say, glad you're home safe, and walk away.
She
And outside.
All right. She yells at the. She doesn't yell, but she says the names of the remaining privates and hands out little pouches. Your pay. Take it and can report to Sergeant Yoram. I'm sorry for you having to do that, but you have to. So if that's all you guys need me for, I'll get back to work. And she kind of bends over her paperwork with Valdi. And you guys are free to follow out Zenora if you wish, or what do you guys want to do?
Yep. We'll go, won't we? Yeah.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you, Griselda.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Alright, so you guys have a lot of things you can look at, a lot of options you can take. It's up to you guys what you want to do. I'll hand it to you.
Okay. If they're outside, I'm just gonna ask that guy. There was some material in a spy hold. Was it Fialva? I can never remember. He built the tower for the studies, and it got corrupted, and the swords of Leilon had to. The creatures that were sealed when it attacked. I'm wondering if they're coming out, and it's the swords of Leilon trying to stop the creatures from attacking again. I feel like we need more information before you go up there.
Okay, well, I suggest that we find Marigold and see what she's able to offer us. Maybe she will come with us, considering Griselda did mention we needed a cleric.
Is the shop that we previously went to along the way?
Aubrey's Peculiarities.
Yeah, Aubrey's Peculiarities.
Is right about over this way. Which, I mean, the town, you could walk easily throughout the town. Most of the place is in ruins, but you remember that Aubrey's was perfectly pristine, beautifully carved, colorful paint.
I remember the paintings as we were leaving. I suspected the swords of Leilon. I'd like to have a closer look.
I mean, question is, let's gather the information that we need first.
Okay.
We don't know how long Vilfin's going to be. Clearly, these guys want this tower situation sorted, so maybe we can, since it's like probably, it's midday now, maybe we gather the information and we can be prepared and head out in the morning.
Do I get have I walked past the tower at all?
You can definitely see it. It's right in the middle of town up on this rocky crag here. So you all can always see the tower from where you are, but you've never been to the base of it yet or anything like that.
Okay. When we get...
Maybe we could also speak to the soldiers. The ones that are gone. Maybe they can tell us what they are seeing.
When we get to the base of it eventually, I want to see if I get a hinky feeling or anything like that, even if we just walk past it. One of those weird feelings or anything like that.
Alright. So where do you guys want to go first? Radolak and Ema.
So we're going to the temple again. Maybe Ema can get some more training. What do you reckon, Ema? Ema?
Ema's quiet.
We leave Ema.
Yep, I'll follow Radolak.
He's following you. Nodding.
You said we perhaps should go and talk to Marigold and get some information from her first?
Griselda did suggest Marigold might be able to provide information regarding this tower situation. I think Aubrey is also a good source of information, but I reckon Marigold might be able to tell us more first. At least understand what the situation is, and then maybe Aubrey can fill in the gaps.
Okay.
Or we go talk to the soldiers first.
Alright. So, if we got to Marigold first, and then I think it might be a case of maybe splitting up in town. One going to talk to soldiers, and one going to see if I can find any information. Those paintings maybe might be more time efficient. If I get into trouble, I'll shoot a fireball in the air. So.
Well, why not? If we're going to split up, why don't we? I think Ema probably has a good rapport with Marigold, so I reckon Ema suggests to take Ema to go to speak with Marigold and get whatever information we can about the tower.
Okay.
Gonna split the party.
Oh God. The
Sorry,
DM's
I didn't mean to
recommended.
do it like that.
So you speak to the soldiers, we'll speak to Marigold, and if we'll meet up at the shop.
Okay.
So Emma and I will go to Marigold. I don't know, and Radolak and
All right.
the soldiers.
Yep.
All right, we'll do Marigold first since she's closer. And I've got her picture up in her Shrine of Lathander. As you walk in, she's going over some books. You just got advantage. And she doesn't see you when you walk in, but she does hear the door creak a little. And she's like, "Oh, come in." She's studying very hard. Thander's always open to those seeking the light. And she turns. Oh, Emma. Hello. How are you? And you've brought your friend. Hi.
Good morning, Marigold. It's very nice to see you.
Very good to see you. And Emma sort of bows to her. And
Hello. And she bows back. I was looking for you. They said you were out. And I remembered that you were looking for that patrol. I hope all went well.
Yes, we did manage to find a patrol. And is it Neverember son?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, it's, the lieutenant's, yeah. He's a bit of a trial and tribulation that we endure, but...
I very much love your polite explanation of that. I had stronger words, but considering
I
where
thought
I am.
them. Yeah, I thought them, but I didn't, patience. So...
Griselda mentioned that to come to you to see if we can find some information about the tower and what we may need and things like that. We're looking at perhaps tackling that tomorrow morning. I don't know. We're just looking for information to try and prepare ourselves, and if perhaps you could help us if we need to, since you suggested having a cleric.
Yeah. I did talk with Baldy and Sergeant Yoram. I tried to talk to Sergeant Yoram. He was asking about ghosts and haunting things, and I told him there's a cleric I knew I could send for, who just happens to have experience with that. And Emma, he's a follower of Mistra, and he'll be coming in the next 2 days. He's very excited to talk to you, actually. He's a dragonborn, I think.
oh,
He
that's, sounds like someone I'd like to talk to. Very much so.
Yeah.
Dragonborn?
Yeah, I've never seen one. I'm really excited. I only write to him here and there, and he writes back. He sounds so nice. But, yeah, he's very confident, and he knows his way around bringing ghosts at peace. Exorcism? Something like that.
Ooh.
So I sent for him, but it's going to be about a few days, give or take. He's on foot. He's making it like a monastery kind of a trip.
Okay. So, what can you tell me about the tower? I know a little, but not a lot.
Okay, well, from what I know of magic, there was a wizard. There's a guy with a store or something. He's probably better at this than me. But it ruined the whole town. Everyone in the town was paralyzed. And these heroes came in and actually defeated the beacon that was shooting out monsters. But they died in the process. So...
Yeah, the sort of Leilon.
Yeah.
I read a little bit about that. Yeah.
So there's
So-
these legends that people still see them around, but I don't really believe in it. But you know,
I have heard a little bit of that myself. To be honest, would you call them ghost humor? The ones that screamed at us?
Yeah, possibly.
oh, like
Yeah.
Griselda. Yeah.
I, I, I don't think I've ever felt like well, I wouldn't put wax in my ears if Griselda was yelling at me. Uh, more spectral, I think is the term.
Oh.
Yeah. Very interesting. Is there anything else? Has any of the soldiers told you anything about what they're seeing exactly?
That's more for Sergeant Yoram and his soldiers. He asked me about ghosts, and I told him I knew a guy. So, you know, I've called a guy in, and, but you guys are welcome to go up there. I think they're up there talking at the base over there at the tower I saw when I was walking in. And,
My brother Nate and the big Minotaur,
oh, yeah.
those two, they've gone to go check that. We thought we'd come and check with you and see what we could find out. I have a question. Nothing related to the tower. Have you heard of the bronze dragon?
A bronze dragon?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But
Okay, I was wondering. It's Lahama. I can never pronounce it. When I read it, it's very weird. It's Lahama Veranzo?
ooh,
So?
I do.
Yeah.
Now that I think, well, that's right. Now that I think about it, one of the fishermen that was unconscious on the island over there, when he went, he had this vision of some kind of a dragon. I'm not saying you should knock yourself out over there, but you know, maybe get a camp for the night or something.
Yeah, I have heard that. The only reason why I ask is because Leilon, she helped.
Oh,
And that's, from what I can gather, I kind of helped with the whole thing. I don't know. The last dragon I had tried to kill us. So, yeah,
they do that, yeah.
it was very interesting to read that there's actually dragons that are willing to heal or help.
Some dragons are nice.
Well, you just said you know Dragonborn, so
Yeah.
I would think that'd be nice. What if
Maybe.
they speak Draconic?
I wonder if that's something we should ask him when he comes in.
Perhaps. But yeah, it just thought it'd be interesting, just to see. I heard there's also a temple, but to
Oh, it sounds
Bama,
familiar.
whoop,
With her
That-
insight, she's not.
yeah. I'm just wondering if that's happening, but that's okay. I just thought I'd ask a few questions and see if I can't answer to anything. Oh, Ema, did you end up getting the reading and scripture? Do you need anything else? I've taken over. You go.
So just an odd question, which is completely unrelated, but I heard a story about a creature in town, and I just wanted to know if you know anything about it. They call it the Growler. Do you know anything about it?
She like covers her hand and she's just like.
And Sonora's just gone.
And
Do
she-
I need to explain to him what? Yeah.
She leans forward to Em and she's like, "It's a very ferocious creature if you get on its bad side. Ale helps."
Well, I'll try and remember that. I'll ask around.
Probably shouldn't ask Griselda though. Just, it'd be very wise for you not to ask Griselda.
Do I hear
And then
this?
she puts her hands on your shoulders and like, very, very wise not to ask Griselda. And she's
I'm
leaning
guessing
up.
I'm saying that. Emma, I think we need to have a conversation when we go to the shop. I'll explain it to him. Yeah.
Did you like them publish the information I gave you on the gods? I hope it was okay.
Oh yes, it's very good, thank you. I want to read it a few times before I truly understand it, but
Maybe this cleric will teach you some spells that I don't know when he comes
Oh.
in.
Oh. While you two are here, I should probably ask, what the hell is a godmother? I'm sorry, what is a godmother?
Oh, that's in case anything bad happens to the parents. You're the new mom.
Oh.
It's a very big deal. Like, you're going to be in charge of babies if you were a godmother or godfather.
Oh, let's make sure she doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're next in line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll make sure to protect. Yes.
Is there anything else I can get for either of you?
Nope. And Sonora's just gonna back up a little and go, okay. She's having a little mini freak out.
She looks at Ema. You all right? You good?
I'm good, thank you. I thank you very much for your time.
All right.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Marigold. Thank you.
You're welcome anytime. And she goes to light some candles. Get the altar set up for like an afternoon ritual.
While I'm here, do you need any help lighting the candles? I can easily help.
Oh no, I'm good. It gives me a meditative state. I like it.
Fire always does that for me too.
Anything else you two want to do before I switch?
When we get outside, I'll say to Zanara, I get the feeling that she really wants me to ask Griselda.
Ema, let's have a little talk. And you can switch and I'll be explaining to Ema exactly what's going on.
Zenithar and Radolak. We are you walking toward the base of the tower?
Yes.
Talk to these group of guys here. I've got a picture of them. It's pretty goofy looking, but Leilon's bravest. As you go to the base of this tower, as you can see from the reading here, it's a tall ruined tower thrust skyward from the summit of the crag. Its uppermost floor looks blackened with soot, which you guys can just see the blackness from above. Wooden scaffolds have been erected as if they're trying to kind of rebuild it, and two ruined arches sit at the bottom. But here down below, which you guys can't see, because I've got to put it over this way, they're about right here. So you see Gory, a dwarven person, and you can hear all their names because the sergeant's talking very loudly to them. And you hear Kaz and Erlum, and he is standing there, and he's like, I don't care, you're paid to go and watch him and keep him safe. There's no rotting rations, there's no... and Gory's like, I've aged 10 years, I'm telling you. And they're arguing back and forth as you come forward. Do you interrupt them or do you listen?
I kind of sit and listen just for a little bit.
Great, thank you, guys. And the sergeant continues on, and he's like, the Growler has paid us to do our job. I don't want to have to get up from my desk and tell you again. Just get up there. And he's like, no, I'm going to roll insight. And they see you, and they were starting to say something about nighttime. At nighttime, I'm telling you, and they see you. And then the sergeant turns around, and he's like,
Hey,
can I help you guys? Are you going up to the tower?
Nate.
It's just staring.
We will be going up to the tower, but first we're here to collect some intel if we're able to speak with the soldiers here.
Yeah.
Speak away, I can't do anything with him. And he waves his hand at him, and he's like, do your job, or no pay. And he starts walking back to his office, leaving the three of them kind of wringing their hands and, like, scuffing their boots and looking around. And, Erlem looks at you like, I've never seen, people like you before. My name's Erlem. And he reaches out his hand. He's kind of sidetracked, a little bit thrown off. But he extends his hand.
Nat will extend his hand in the warrior's handshake. Zenith or Golden Claw. This is my friend Radolak.
Radolak will do the same, but maybe not so well.
Quite a grip you guys got there. Yeah, I don't know why you guys would want to go up unless you're friends of Galio Libro. Wizard? Up there? No?
Not
We
yet.
we understand this tower is important to the city, and whatever is going inside of the tower might be hampering that. So Griselda has asked us to look into what's going on and see if there's a way we might be able to resolve. But we did, just out of character, were these the same guys when we first walked in before we headed off to find the patrolmen? Were they the ones heading out, and they were looking a little bit on the
Flustered side?
heebie-jeebie side?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the
Okay, so Nat will say, I saw you guys a couple of days ago. You look pretty much flustered as you are now. Clearly this is a place you don't want to be at. I mean, I understand you're doing your job as a soldier, and very noble and respectful and brave of you guys to, to do a job that, other people are not prepared to do. But if there's any insight to what you have experienced, it may help myself, Radolak, and the rest of my crew to able to understand what is going on and then find out what solution we can provide to help not only you, but the town.
Yeah. Did one of you say you aged 10 years? Like, is that like a figure of speech, or do you mean
Gory's like
literally?
Gory the dwarf say, look at my face. How old do you think I am? He's the small one.
Looks about as old as Vilfin, doesn't he?
I'm feckin' 17 years old. I mean, in human years, I'm actually 100, but I'm a young teenager.
Oh,
This is my first job. How am I gonna get a wife with? And
puberty has not been kind to you, sir.
Cause says we were working on the tower, the reconstruction of it, and we fled last night again because Gory said he saw a ghost, and before he ran out, looking like he does, he had more hair. We saw odd things like missing tools that we had, chills. Erlem heard whispers, and Erlem said, speaks up, and he's like, I saw this man. He had wild hair, kind of like, no offense, like your mane, had burning eyes, and I was on the 3rd floor. And I am never going back up there. I don't care what my boss says. That Galio's still up there. But I don't want to go back up there. And I need both of you to roll an insight check. Because
I was
they're
about to ask if I could roll an insight.
looking like they're looking at each other quickly and not saying much. Like they're holding something. What'd you get?
A 9.
12.
They're looking like they're holding something back. Kaz is like scratching his head, and he's like,
What is it, soldier?
Galilio's been acting strange. Like, he's usually a little hot-tempered because he wants the job done, but he's always nice. But he's acting like he's not slept for days. And at night, he wanders around in his nightgown talking to himself. Which I know he's a wizard, and they're very, like, eccentric, let's say. But it's creeping me out. I don't think he's sleeping.
Did he say there was ghosts in the tower? Have you talked to Galileo?
Says he's never seen any.
Right.
But he doesn't disbelieve us. I mean, he's never said we're lying or anything. He believes in ghosts, but he's just never seen any. So, and you guys, with your perceptions, see at the top of this crag a dark-skinned woman in chainmail. She's staring at the two of you. The other men have their backs to this person. She's staring at you, and she gives like a warrior salute to her chest and walks away.
Oh, hey.
Did any of you guys... no, you guys didn't. I'll ask this question later. So that is what you see.
So this Galileo, you said he's acting out of character and not sleeping. You say he's very nice. So when did you first notice these changes within him? Does it coincide with any activities that are going on in the tower?
When we first got here, everything seemed fine, but I don't... If he's acting like he hasn't slept since he's gotten there. Like, we don't sleep in the tower, but he does. He has a room in there, and he's just gotten worse, I think.
You're supposed to look out after this guy during the day and night, or is your patrol only for the evening?
We try to work on the tower during the day, and we try to switch out and check in on him at night, check to make sure everything's okay. But we don't check on him at night anymore since the nightgown and muttering to himself and stuff. I don't.
Does he ever come out of the tower?
I don't see
Like,
him. I mean, we've seen him go in when we've all first arrived here and everything. He was okay, and he doesn't really come out. We kind of deliver his meals. And
what was this tower before? Like, was it special?
it had a beacon in it. It did something about, I don't know, some wizard was studying the other planes. It could freeze animals and things from other planes, and he would study them. Something like that.
Magic stuff.
Yeah. I don't know how it works.
No, me either.
But, I guess we have to go back up, so...
Is it safer during the day than at night?
I'm not going up the floors in the night. We've seen him on the first floor at night, talking to himself and everything. And he was no ghosts around. He looked fine, I guess, but I'm not going further in. Not after what happened to Gory. I mean, look at him. Jeez. So.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see Marigold. Maybe she can restoration him or something. Maybe it's a curse. I don't know. She can make him look better.
Oh, I mean, got to try something if he's looking to.
Some women like the older dwarf. Oh,
Corey's like, I
it's-
don't
he
look
looks a lot
that
wise,
bad.
doesn't
It's not that bad, okay?
I mean,
it's,
yeah, you're fine.
It, I still got a beard. It's all right.
Yeah, some
Just
grays
don't let
maybe.
it catch on
but-
fire.
I hear there's a dwarven woman down there. Maybe I don't know. Maybe she likes older
Yeah,
fellas.
yeah, I don't know.
No?
We don't know. I mean, you can try.
Griselda?
No, not Griselda. The new girl.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Griselda?
know. Yeah, well, like I'm not very worldly. Okay, we should probably go now. Hey, Nate.
Griselda! He's holding his axe, and Kaz is like, you should go. Yeah, you probably should. You know.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
All
If
right.
you sit around town and if you've got more information for us, please let us know. But
All right. And you guys are.
your intel has proven valuable.
I hope so. I don't know how I can help. All right, and they start to slowly walk up there. They're not happy about it, but you know, strength in numbers, so they're trying to make the best of it. They're trying to stall for time. You guys are meeting each other at Aubrey's, you said? You're gonna meet at the
Yes.
store?
Yep.
So we'll take this opportunity to make a quick coffee potty break, and then we'll all meet at this store.
Cool. Coffee.
While they are doing that, thank you for the advantages to everybody, Evil. Thank you for the follow. Night. And the cheer from JJ. And we will be right back. Gotta find my be right back button. And we're back. Hope you guys are having fun. Hey, Evil, I hope you're feeling better. Hi, Unknown Warlock. And Drax. Drax is in there. Hi, Naughty. I feel like I have a burp, but I can't. I don't want to start talking to them, but... Okay. So... Aubrey's. I have a picture for that. I have two pictures, so I'll do one picture and then I'll go to my other one. Aubrey's shop. As you go to Aubrey's shop, hanging behind the counter, are you guys all waiting outside to meet up, or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sonora
I
would
mean,
have
we'll wait in this general vicinity until
All right. So
everyone shows up.
you see Zenithor and Radolak walking up to you guys outside the shop. Do you want to talk before heading in? Are you good?
I'll go up to Nate and Red like, please can someone explain to Emma not to call Griselda the Growler. He's going to get his head fucking chopped off.
yeah. People don't like it when you talk about Griselda. It's a weird
No.
thing.
Nate, can you tell him? Why do I feel like, oh boy. So, yes, so, the whole, just don't call her Growler. Do not call Griselda Growler. Okay? And I'm looking at Emma.
No problem, sir.
What was that?
No promises.
Remind me to see if I have silence in my pack of spells.
That just means things will go smoothly as they always do.
Anyway,
go-
what information did you guys get?
The tower's got weird magic-y ghost things going on. And there was a lady we saw in the... Yeah. Nate, you're good with words, right?
So, what they're saying is there's ghosts inside this tower. They're saying things like there's missing items disappear, there's chills, there's whispers. Only seems, from what we understand, only seems to be a nighttime occurrence. One thing that one of the soldiers mentioned was that they saw a man with wild hair and burning eyes.
What?
And the other, and they mentioned that Galeo always seems to be a nice guy, but more recently, they say that it appears that he hasn't slept in quite some time, and at night he's walking around in his nightgown. So they seem like the information, while it seems kind of out there, they generally believe, like, this is like their demeanor, the way they're talking to us. Like, they even, like, it took some convincing to get more information out of them. It's like they didn't want to tell anybody.
Like they were magically...
No, as in, like, if they told anybody, no one would believe them.
Oh.
Very standoffish.
Okay.
And they do not want to be in there.
From the information that I got from the book, and Marigold pretty much confirmed about the beacon that was destroyed by the Swords of Leilon, because of the monsters and all that kind of stuff that were coming out. Did they mention anything about that, like the Swords of Leilon being there, or monsters? Because I don't know.
They mentioned a beacon, right, Radolak?
Yeah, there was like a beacon, and then there was a wizard in there, and he was doing magic with the other planes and freezing animals and stuff.
Oh boy. It looks like they're trying to reconstruct the beacon from like over 200 years ago. That doesn't sound like a good idea. That's like multi-plane dimensional. I'd kind of have some kind of idea of that from what I've read and bits and pieces of it, wouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Wibbly wobbly magic stuff.
Pretty much. So I think he's looking at going for the Ethereal plane and looking for stuff around there. It sounds like he's sleeping. Not sleeping, you said?
Yeah, they say he hasn't slept in. It appears that he hasn't slept in days.
Why do I have a funny feeling it might have something to do. Is there a beacon up there? Are they rebuilding the beacon? And that could be what is causing some of the issues.
Oh, we might have to go in and find out. It sounds ominous.
Do you know what ominous means, Radolak?
Trouble. Bad.
Oh,
Yeah, see, I'm educated.
okay. Anyway, we should have. Yeah, so pretty much it sounds like what Marigold has told us is similar to what ghosts and all that kind of stuff. But she doesn't believe in him. There was a cleric, wasn't there, Eva? A
Yeah.
dragonborn?
Marigold said there's a cleric coming to town to check it out in a couple of days' time.
I
Pirates
guess
everywhere.
then the question is, do we wait these 2 days for this guy to show up, or do we find out as much as we can now?
Well, it sounds like all the activity is happening at night, so maybe if we go during the day, it won't be so bad, and at least we can get some reconnaissance for him.
Being
Seem
that,
pretty reluctant to go in there during the day too.
being that I can't see anything during the night, we should probably go at night time.
Sarcasm.
Well, I guess the other question that is raised here is, do any of us here know how to deal with ghosts?
Yeah, I think you three probably have more of an idea than I do, as well as Wilfin. Radiant, I
Things
think.
outside the inn, were they ghosts?
That's what I asked Ema if there were ghosts.
Roll inside if you want to see if you can remember.
Just Ema or?
Anybody that wants to think back.
24.
24.
30, 20.
2. Radolak's like, probably.
Natural 1.
Those of you above a 15, you remember there were wraiths because you guys talked about it after after they died, and the undead, like zombies almost. Not really ghosts, more like evil spectral entities.
So, here's a question. Like there are good people, bad people, good Leonas, bad Leonas, good Minotaurs, bad Minotaurs. There could be good ghosts and bad ghosts. I think we got to work out which one it is. And we should probably ask Aubrey, since he seems to have information. He mentioned about the lizard folk.
Yeah.
Yes, and the priestess mentioned that Aubrey is well versed in undead.
Sells unusual items and told. Well, that's what they told us. Unusual, not common.
Well,
Yep. So,
Radolak will go in.
yeah, Sonora
Alright.
would have been in as well at that time.
As you go in, it's very warm woods and things like that. And he has a lot of odd-shaped trinkets. He is an older, white-haired gentleman with a beard, dressed well for a merchant. And he's remembered you from your day before outside his shop. And he's like, welcome, welcome. I see you guys survived.
Oh, we did, and thank you very much about the tip that they may or may not be good people, the lizard folk. They're good people.
Ah, yeah. They used to have a whole village that, like almost like a human settlement. It was really cool out in the swamps. I don't know if it's still there anymore. This was a long time ago.
Do you mind if I have a look at the paintings? And I'm gonna go up to the paintings that were in there and see if I can really look into them.
They are right behind his desk right there. Do you all look at the paintings, or is it just Sonora?
Yeah, let's have a look.
As he points. Those of you looking at the paintings, Zenithor Radolak, roll insight for me.
So Zenora had a reasonably good glance the last time she saw them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was the dark-skinned warrior woman that she
Mm-hmm.
remembers. And they didn't describe the woman they saw, did they?
No, they did not. That's what messing and roll insight.
17.
15.
I had to be at 10. As you guys are looking, you see a dwarf with a lute in bardic clothes. You see a very faded picture. You can't make out that one. And you do see a dark-skinned woman, the very same chainmail, the very same hair, everything from the top of the cliffs.
Who was that? Who
That's
those?
that's the one we saw on the cliffs, right, Nate?
Yes.
Who are these people? I never got to ask the last time.
Oh, these are the swords of Leilon. Usually when we get heroes of a town, we paint pictures of them, put them up, in the shop.
Yes,
It's a
we
thing.
do know that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Talia. She's a Spitfire. She was very fiery tempered, I was told.
Talia. Interesting. Who's the one with the lute?
I can't remember his name. He was supposed to be this really great dwarven bard, I was told once. Lots of little dance jigs.
Girlfriend would love him.
Yeah, you don't see good bards anymore. It'll come to me. I'll think about it and let you know.
So, why? What would explain Radolak and I seeing Natalia at the tower? I mean, I'm assuming if she's a painting.
It's said that they still wander protecting the tower from the town. Like, they're unfinished business.
Who's that one that's scratched out? I can't really make much of them.
He was a fighter. He was pretty noble. Geez, you know what? I'll have to look on the backs or ask around some people because I can't think of him either. I only remember Talia because she was, look at her. She's gorgeous.
Do you mind if I try and have a proper look and see if I can get more of an image of it? Like, I want to see shadows of painting to kind of get a feature of what they sort of look like.
Yeah.
Any color or pigmentation to kind of gauge what they look like.
So the dwarf with the lute, you notice he's in attire. He looked very happy. The one in the middle, Talia, she has this brown skin, dark hair. Aubrey is telling you it's called Termish, where she's from. She was a Termish woman. And the third one, he can't seem to remember. You can see that it's a male figure. He has a sword with him, no shield. And his face is kind of faded with the painting with time. And I can't remember if there's a fourth or not. But, and he's talking about all the adventures they go on. He's kind of like one of those people that starts telling stories and doesn't really stop. Good stories, but he's kind of talking about how wonderful they were and how they helped the town. And as you guys are looking around, you see he's got very odd stuff on his shelves. There's like a dead sprite preserved in a glass bottle. There's lots of toys. There's some healing potions that are pretty expensive, and papers, pens, journals, things like that. He's got like a miscellaneous of peculiar items. So.
Sonora's going to ask, is there anywhere that around that can procure components for spells and stuff like that?
Oh, what you needing?
Well, I'm looking for things like brimstone and
Brimstone. I think I've got some brimstone here. How much you looking at getting?
Just a small pouch is all I'm looking for. Something that roughly about 20 pinches, roughly.
Alright.
I'm looking for things like I'm just checking all my components once because I know that I've got a couple that I need to make sure. Oh, I'm down some sumac. I need to get a couple more sumac leaves.
We can
Just
say that Zenora's he gives you a piece of paper and a pen, and he's like, make a list. So you're gonna write down your lists, and
yeah.
he's gonna give you a price of about 10 gold for the trouble.
I know this is probably a bit weird in a shop full of magic stuff, but Radolak's going to use magic awareness to see.
Ooh.
Because it's weird to him that he's so familiar with their adventures and yet he forgets the names.
So read magic awareness for me.
So that's just as an action, you can open your awareness to the presence of concentrated magic. Till the end of your next turn, you can know the location of any spell or magic item within 60 feet,
Okay.
which is probably like half the shop. It's
Yeah,
probably not
I was
gonna
gonna
help.
say you're gonna activate it and be like whoosh. Everything on the shelves is just glowing with magic, all different
Like the-
kinds.
Paintings magic.
The paintings are not magic; they're just paintings.
Is there anything magical about him?
He probably, since he is a magical kind of procurer, he probably does have some magic on him that is glowing. I'm not really sure what it would be because I'm making it up that he would have something. So he is also glowing as well.
It does say I sense what school of magic, but I won't do that to you.
I can tell you after if I think about it, and
Because yeah, it'd be like an intense list of stuff.
we'll
and
say his
things.
pockets are glowing with like he has potions of healing and things like that inside them. So the area.
And can I roll insight? Because I don't believe he doesn't know their names.
You
It
can
was
roll insight.
not very good at it. But... 10.
You're looking at him, and he seems to be like thinking on it and rubbing his temple. And he is saying like, "It'll come to me. It'll come to me. I'll remember." He is rather old.
Sonora would also like to add in 10 rations in that
Alrighty.
secure listing as well, yeah.
Some 10 rations in your thing.
So yeah, and that's what she was going for, just components and 10 rations.
All right.
So is that still 10 gold or would that be more?
I'll just make it 12 for now. I'll get the chart. He doesn't really sell rations, but I don't see any place in town that also sells rations. So
Yeah, not for now. All right, I'll take 12 gold off and I'll grab my components, which is roughly about, yeah. And cool. Thank you very much.
So he's saying you're looking at ghosts, huh? Well, ghosts have unfinished business. So you need to find out what it is they're trying to finish, or who they knew in life that they trust that can talk to them. Or you get a cleric in there, because they usually can speak with the dead, and they can help you with some restoration if things go kind of south. That's what I know.
Ema, can you speak to the dead? You seem to be able to speak to everything else.
I don't know. I can speak Celestial.
Ooh.
And I can speak Delkia.
I knew a celestial once. That was a great night. But no, that's not a ghost. Are you a new cleric?
Fairly new.
Ah, that's nice. We have a shrine here in town, I think. Nobody really comes around this side of town much. So I'm the only shop on this side. They seem to all want to be at the beginning, starting up their shops where everybody can see.
Do you know where the Temple of Bahamut is?
Oh, the dragon.
Yes.
No, I do know we used to have a lot of dragons around. They had some green ones and
Particularly a bronze one.
oh,
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
there was a dragon that's like by the ocean or something like that. Had a shrine.
Yeah.
Had followers. Was a really nice dragon. Had a really long name. It'll come.
Yeah, bronze shrine.
It was
It's probably still there.
the dragon still alive? You reckon?
Oh, dragons live a long time. She was a nice dragon too.
So
It'll come to me. Her name will come to me.
Lahamarunso.
What? Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe as the shipfarers, you could take a barge out. Sometimes we get some merchants in here. They've traveled all over. I bet you they'd know stories.
Of sailing.
Nate, is there anything you want to ask?
How does one defend themselves against a ghost?
Well, let's see. Are you a very... Would you consider yourselves intelligent people? Fairly. Ema, what are you doing right now? Are you chewing on grass? Because that's going to affect this.
I guess that's a matter of point of view.
Depends. We're all smart in different ways.
Radiance. You're a paladin, you look like. I see a symbol, the tear. Do you have symbol to tear on you? No? You don't?
Me?
No,
You don't?
I have no.
So he just sees you in mail. So either you're a fighter, you've got a cleric, you've said before. So light of the sun helps against the darkness of the undead. Also finding out if you can get a peaceful resolution. You could go that route, or you could just try and hit it with light spells. If any of you are magical.
Some of us are, yes. Just, interesting. More a case of, would you say the sort of good ghosts?
Would I say there's good ghosts?
Like the swords of Leilon. They're good ghosts.
Well, they saved our life. Well, they saved some lives, so I'd say they're pretty good. Their unfinished business might be something they're guarding. Sometimes you can talk to the ghosts. Sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't.
Make friends with the lizards. Maybe we can make friends with the ghosts too, right?
Although, isn't there... Where's this ghost at? Up at the tower?
Yeah, it's at the tower.
Is there anyone else at the tower?
Giselle. Me. There's a wizard.
Galileo.
Yeah, that's the one.
Well,
It's
last
gonna
time
come to
there
me
was
eventually.
a wizard there, it didn't end well.
No. Not what I read too.
You think it's the wizard?
I don't know. We might have to sit down and talk about it and work things out.
Yeah, they like to poke at things that maybe they shouldn't poke at.
Alavar had a familiar sidekick, a friend, I don't know what it was, a little fairy person. named Soaport. It was really cute.
Look what?
Soaport, best of friends. Followed him everywhere.
The weird names this time out.
Have you met gnomes? They got some weird names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some names.
Interesting.
It might help to ask around. I'm just the old guy that sells stuff, though, so.
Probably. We'll probably come back.
Alright. If I figure out those names, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
So.
Now I'm sitting there going, do I believe that he doesn't remember the names? Because at the second, I asked him the last time, he said, I can't remember their names.
Roll inside.
Inside.
Because he did remember Talia, so.
Yeah. 11.
It's almost the same as Charlie. Same thing. He's like rubbing his temple. He looks like he's trying hard to, like, almost like he can't understand why he can't remember stuff, but.
Okay. So yeah. Unless anyone else has anything else, I suggest we go.
Emma's going to say, oh, I've got a question for you. It's totally unrelated to this. And at the same time, he's going to wink at Zenora.
Oh, God. Sonora's just going to put her head on Nate's shoulder and just go, no.
You haven't heard anything about a beast called a growler that gets tamed by alcohol, do you?
I'm making a roll. A beast called a growler. Is that like a werewolf or something, maybe? I don't know. Is this a nickname or a formal name?
I don't know. I overheard somebody saying that there was one around here somewhere.
Well, names have power, so I say, go for it. Call it out. What's the worst that can happen? You guys look like you can fight. He has no idea what you're talking about.
That's just great. We should probably go now, hey, everyone.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, we'll come back.
And then he laughs a little, so he might know what you're talking about. You never know.
Maybe he'll remember us when we back.
Maybe he'll remember us when she kicks us out of town or cuts our heads off.
Yeah.
I don't think Emma would be smart enough to roll an insight on that.
Where are you guys walking? Are you going to go? I'll go back to the town picture here. So you guys are over here. My thingy's not tinking. Okay. Where would you guys like? Do you guys want to sit and think on it? You want to travel somewhere else? Or
I kind of want to have a conversation about what we've learned, what's come up. We've just learned that the dragon's still alive, and that dragon would have information. Just somewhere where we can actually have a conversation more than anything else.
all right. You can walk down by the fishery. You can go to the town square, where the blacksmith is. You can go to the settlers' camp where you had camped out before. Your tent is still there. There is a pub, Trash. There isn't a pub as of yet. It's a very sad place.
He seemed like super informative and also like super confused about the details. The minutia.
So we'll say you're walking and talking while you're talking.
Yeah, just me?
No, it's odd that the names of someone so famous like the Swords of Leilon knowing who they are and having the paintings and not knowing who they are was, weird.
Yeah. And like all those stories about their adventures, like those are like pretty fine details to not have names to go with. Like their names would be the thing you would remember, and all the things they did you might forget.
Can I roll an insight check and I'll ask you the question?
Me?
Yeah, because I
Okay.
checked those paintings over and I want to ask you a question. But I've got to roll insight on it. I know this for a fact.
Okay, what do you want to ask?
I want to ask if the painting that had been scratched out and had a shape was it very similar to Aubrey?
Roll insight.
23?
It did have the same shape as Aubrey, and it is the same gender shape as Aubrey as a male. You can't see if the hair is gray or anything though, because the hair and the face is the one that's. But I mean, it did have different clothes. This guy had fighter's armor on.
Doesn't mean that it's not them and they haven't just retired.
But I mean, everyone in town did tell you that all the swords of Leilon died too, so you know that with your high insight. So, so I mean, it could be something, but
It just looks, just the fact that he can't remember, and that picture being, yeah. Okay. That's my question. I won't voice it to the group yet. Like,
Alright.
that's what I'm.
So you guys see Zenora like thinking as she's walking quietly.
God.
The town's full of some strange people.
It is.
I mean, Ema's here.
Eamon's going to get himself killed.
I mean, we've known that from the start.
I can't convince him not to, just to let the whole growler thing go. I just can't seem to get him to do that. Anyway, point of call. From what we can gather, it sounds like the beacon is what's causing the issues with the wizard and everything like that.
Do we want to go out into the tower without this cleric that's supposed to be coming and Bilfin?
It probably wouldn't be a smart idea.
As you guys are talking, you do see Marigold, and she's looking around as you're talking. Carry on.
Oh, hey, Marigold.
Oh, hi. I've been asking. I did get a letter, and she's holding the letter. If you guys wait about, say, maybe 4 days, 3 or 4 days, he'll be here. And we do need some help building the town, and I think you're waiting on a friend, right?
Yeah.
I've told Sergeant Yoram that, and he gave me the okay that the cleric and you guys can go in, and if you want to spend the night there, you can spend the night there, because, I mean, you'll have 2 clerics, so.
Did a dwarf soldier come see you, or
Oh, yeah.
he was like old?
Yeah,
Was he?
He looked a lot different, but he's all fine now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Restoration. Of course, I made him pay for it. You know, it goes to the Shrine of the Thunder. So.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to go in there then. Like, Minotaurs don't live like a super long time, and I'm like kind of old.
I don't know if it ages you or if it just makes you look old.
Oh, well, that's all right.
But although he was a dwarf, so.
Mm.
Yeah.
Dwarfs look older when they're born.
True, but I mean, then you guys can stay on the island, or Or you can stay in the camp with me if you guys want. And for out of character, we will speed up time tonight if you guys choose to do that.
So I'm wondering what Nate wants to do. If he's willing to wait, or should we wait, or should we talk tonight about it, or whatever?
It makes sense to wait for Vilfin and the cleric, especially if they're more knowledgeable at these things than what we are.
Vilfin would be rather pissed if we didn't wait for him to fight, to be fair. I got a question. If that dragon's still alive, wouldn't it be prudent to ask someone that was actually alive around that time? The dragon. I'm not going to try and say the name again, please don't use it again.
No, what you just said made no sense. That's why I'm asking you to clarify.
Okay, there's a dragon. Not saying the name because it's a pain in the ass. That is still alive, and they were around 200 years ago. It healed. It's a bronze dragon. It's supposed to be somewhere up near the temple on the cliffs. I don't know if
he meant the dragon was still alive or that the shrine was still.
He said dragons live a very long time.
I mean, yeah, but
that doesn't mean that it was still alive.
But I asked.
Yes, and you also asked about the names, and look how forgetful that was.
Yeah. I mean,
look, I'm not
picked up
discounting the possibility. I'm just saying that this guy is obviously either doesn't trust us enough to give us the information that we require, or something else is going on that we can't explain.
Well, you said you saw one of the swords of Leilon in the tower. You saw Thalia?
on the cliff. Yeah.
On the cliff?
Hmm?
On the cliff.
She was on the crag of the tower.
I think it was was it like this, Nate? Like,
yes, warrior.
Yeah, she looked super cool. I don't know if she looked like a ghost though.
So
I mean, have you ever seen a ghost before, Radolak?
So, was it on the tower that you saw Thalia?
Yes, it was on the tower where we were talking to the soldiers.
Okay. Because Radolak says cliff. That's why I
thought it was on a cliff. Out of character.
Who was on the cliff out of character? I was looking up stuff.
The Talia.
Talia was standing at the edge of the cliff looking down at you, up where the tower was, the top.
Yeah.
Up where the tower was.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the
not
top portion.
Not on the cliff that I'm thinking of. You know what cliff I'm thinking of?
No, she's at the top of the tower. Craig.
Yeah.
Craig.
No, that's why I wanted to. This is an out of character. That's why I wanted to clarify if it was that cliff. I'm like, that's kind of.
They saw her from where they were standing. Yeah. So.
That's why I wanted to ask. Okay. I suppose. I don't know.
Could we maybe go to the cliff and see? Maybe? That's something we could do. No, the cliff where the woman was.
That was the tower.
No, out of character, we just said that she was on a cliff overlooking the tower.
Oh man,
this is really affecting Radolak's brain.
You guys need to push because I can give you.
Okay, let's go to the tower. Before we go and take off for the night, can we just go to the tower so I can see if I can see what you saw? If you don't mind. And then we go the rest of the night.
Since you're walking and talking, you see the tower right there, and you're going to go up to the foot. And You're gonna look. Roll perception. And I will roll to see if she is there.
Perception is, and I'm pretty sure I know what my perception is, but I'll just check. Yeah, that's a 23 perception.
All right. You can see pretty much everything from where you're at, and she's definitely not there right now. So.
Okay. And I'll ask Nate to point where he saw her.
Do you point?
Yeah, I'll get in where I was standing, talk to the soldiers, and
There is a.
yep, it was about over there.
And you can see.
That's where we saw it.
She might not be there now, but yeah, there's nothing there right now.
Okay. Well then.
The soldiers didn't see her because their backs were turned.
Okay. No worries. If we're going to camp, we should probably set up camp before it gets too dark.
All right. So have you guys chosen to wait for this cleric to come in? Wait the 3 days and help out with the buildings, things like that?
I would say that would be a course of action to take.
Out of
We can wait for Vilfin and the cleric.
Out of character, does Zenora know that you're marking off days? Does she know that date?
I don't think Radolak could be secretive about it, so yeah. You probably.
Well, we've got Radolak's got a meeting coming up. So, do you want us there, or do you want us in hiding, or what do you want us to do around? And do we want to wait for Vilfin and the cleric? I think it would be prudent since I don't know how to speak to the dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do around town. We'd probably keep busy.
So, so yeah, Emma, what are you feeling and thinking right now? What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'm happy with whatever.
Happy with whatever. So you guys camp. I'm assuming you guys are gonna help buildings. Emma, do you go to talk to Griselda?
I would, during the 3 days, I would probably spend most of it with
Marigold?
helping Marigold, and then helping the people building and stuff.
All right. Zenithor, what would you think you'd be doing for the 3 days? So I can make some notes if it's...
It would be a mixture of helping around the town. Anything that may help out the military folk.
All right.
But I would also like to make a point of call to the blacksmith at some point as well.
Okay. Zenora. Blacksmith.
Zenora's got a couple of things. She'd probably be helping Bill carry things. Anything. Making sure that people are safe and things like that. Watching out because she's got good perception, things like that. She'd also probably be putting in a good 8 or 10 hours into learning Orc.
Oh, yeah. You probably would have learned Orc by now, because I think it was 19 or something like that.
Yeah, it was 19 hours, so that's 10 hours plus a 2, so I think I'd only have 7 left, unless, since there's a half-orc, I could have asked them to help me.
Could have. Or Emma, but you don't know that
I don't know Emma knows it, but I do know that half-orc with Jessup, and she might be nice enough to help me with it, so I could learn it by now.
She could, yes. We'll say you learned Orc.
Right,
Radolak, what do you think you'll be doing?
Radolak's going to go look at the goats.
Just look at the giant goats. That is outside of town, yes.
How far outside of town?
Giant goats need a lot of room. We're gonna say it's over by this, past this here. Way up north in the fields. They are humongous. They're 3 times taller than you. And there's about 150 of them.
He's also going to talk to the sailors, and he talk about the island that's sort of in the middle there. Inquire about that.
All right.
Inquire about the dragon. You know, just general information around town.
Island and the dragon. All right, we'll go for you. The sailors say that if you sleep on the island, it's said you'll have visions of the future. And as far as a dragon, they do have sailors that come in, but these are mostly the barge workers. No sailors have come in lately because the swamps are very shallow. They have to moor quite a ways away and come in on smaller boats. So they will keep you informed if they do see any come in, which you'll probably see, and ask about a dragon. The blacksmith I'll need to get to. Ema, you learn a lot about this new cleric, this dragonborn cleric. He's said to be very jovial, very cheerful, never a negative thing. So it depends on if you're anxious to meet him or not. But he wrote to Marigold that he is willing to teach you some more about Mistra, if you are interested in any questions. So you'll probably be thinking of some questions you might want to ask or whatever you'd like to say. The blacksmith, Zenithor. You go to the blacksmith, and it is a dwarven woman. Her back's to you. Her hair is almost all the way down past her butt in a very long braid of flaming red. She is hammering away. And what would you like to ask her? I see you, Mina.
Is it more so to, like, getting inquiring about the possibility of engraving or getting on my shield the focus that I have around on my necklace, to see if I can have that somehow engraved or added into my current shield.
Okay, is this you ask her this, yeah?
Yes.
All right, she's looking at it. Ah, it's a fine emblem you've got there. On your shield, you say? Oh, we could probably do that.
I'm looking at ways so when I'm on a battlefield, I'll look more of a presence.
You're a feckin' lion. You don't want to be more of a presence than that? Look at you. You're magnificent.
Yeah.
We can make you shinier. Don't worry. I can get it to you in a couple of days.
A couple of days sounds fine. I'm in no rush. I've got some work around town to do.
What price are you thinking of offering? We can barter.
See, this is something I'm not familiar with. As you said, I'm a freaking lion. So we never really had to barter. I could just ask for what I needed and it gets done. So...
First tip. Don't tell people you're bartering with that you're not familiar with it. And she winks at you and she says, about 100 gold. Ask me for 50.
And just looking around.
$100? You're not gonna do better than that? I mean, that's pretty intricate work. I'm the best there is.
Is that so? And by what reputation?
Oh, all of the people back home, of course. But, you know.
And where is back home? 'Cause
I don't go about telling all of my stories yet. You gotta know me first. Come on. Say 50. 50.
since I need to get to know you, what is your name?
I'm
Since we
Minerva.
didn't,
What's your name?
Zenithor Goldenclaw.
Oh, a shiny lion name. Very good. All right, you're giving me a hard time. What do you say, 75?
You know, for being a good sport, yes.
Ah. You're adorable. You're not good at this at all. You could have gotten it for 60. But 75
Call it
is
an
good.
investment.
All right.
I mean, if you're as good as what you say you are, then I'll be coming back.
All right. Well, you'll get to see for yourself. About 3 days.
3 days it
for
is.
ya. Don't get
You
in
need-
fights in the meantime. You won't have a shield.
That's my favourite thing to do.
Well,
You think I just need a shield to stop me getting into fights?
I like you. Come back. We'll share a drink or something once they build a feckin' pub in this place. Huh?
I agree.
All right, off with you now. Go on. she's,
I knew it. I so wish I went with him.
she's clanging and clanging. So, her long braid is vibrating each time she hits. She's very strong, and she seems very skilled at what she's doing. And is that all you're gonna do for that before we speed up time?
Yep. Yep. Speed up time.
We speed up time, Radolak. It is the end of the end of days. The end of the time has come.
Dun, dun.
Dun dun. You have your note, which was still.
Does Radolak want us with him?
That is up
You
to
never
Radolak.
answer. You never answered. That's why I'm asking.
So you are. I'll say you're at the camp. Do you talk to them?
I should go talk to her on my own, but I would like it if you were close by, just in case.
We wouldn't let you do this alone. So if you want, we'll stand back. Enough to perhaps protect you if you need to be protected, or protect her if you need to be protected. Okay. We'll stay out, but in view. Okay.
All right. So the docks are down here. You're gonna go to this one. That one's pretty rough. Right where the fishery is. It's getting towards a little bit of dusk. Well, no, we'll say it's morning because you're waking up and talking to them. So we'll say it's rising. Still a little dark. Where are you guys gonna be? Are you gonna be kind of hiding behind the fishery, or off to the side, or just standing up above? Where do you think you guys would be?
You muted,
Yeah,
Nina.
muted Mina. I was like, why isn't anybody talking?
Still muted, love.
I would probably be at the top, looking down, enough that if I needed to, I could sprint. But not in earshot, not in, Not in earshot, mind you. I can read lips, and I'm looking at that. So if you get where I'm going with it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Ema, are you going with, or do you stay behind? What would you like to do?
I would be somewhere quite far away with my bow, and so I could see them and I could see Zenora. If they're on the dock somewhere, I'll probably be further along that like ridgy bit. Do you say that on the docks?
Yeah, so if you can see, can you guys see the screen? Like, I don't know if Founder's not
I
working.
can.
I'll zoom
I can
in.
see it.
Okay, so they're down there. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, so do you want to be like right about here is where I put you, but you can move. Yeah, there you go. Where
Yeah,
you
about
wanna
there
be.
somewhere. I just sort of been sitting on the thing, like on the edge, sort of like not really paying attention, sort of lying down, but then looking in Zenora's direction.
All
So
right.
if they were to look at me, they'd see my feet dangling over that edge.
Nice. And Nat, where would you like to be?
Probably close by. Probably in between Zenor and
In between?
yeah.
And Ema? All right. Radolak, you are at the docks.
And I'll be sitting at the end with his feet over the side.
All right. Are you going to be talking? Are you saying anything? Are you looking at the other? Are you guys stealth?
Well, I've got no hope in that, so no.
I wouldn't be stealth, but I want to make sure I'm at an angle where I can at least read one set of lips, at least one. So that's the thing.
All right. As you guys stay there, and I've got to fix my overlay so we can see him. Var, you're hidden from view, aren't you?
Yes.
All right. Let's see if I can hear you. Because you're very low. And I'm getting your camera. So, describe what you look like and where you're at. Yours right now, you're hidden.
Hidden, probably standing next to Radolak,
Right.
but definitely hidden, as I have cast invisibility on myself.
All right. Your mic is super low, buddy.
Hang on.
Fix yourself. Put it closer to your mouth. Eat it.
I don't want to eat it.
Oh, well, I heard you then. He's being stealthy, guys.
How's that?
That's a little better.
Okay. How's that?
A little better?
As good as I'm gonna get.
No, I gotta fix your source. Technical difficulties.
Always fun.
But I know what to do now. I got this. Okay, you're fine. All right. You are very low, so you probably have to yell.
All right, I'll try eating the mic then.
Eat the mic. Okay. Describe what Var looks like and where he's hiding at.
Oh, Vara is dressed in thieves' clothes. All purple. Different shades of purple. Not bright, just different shades of purple. But no one can see him as he's invisible.
All right. And you see this Minotaur at the edge of the docks that you were told to meet. As he stands there waiting, you roll a perception to see if you can see where you're at. The other three. Or do you want me to roll it for you? Because you might not have your character sheet up.
It's going to be really loud now.
That's fine.
I've just changed to my webcam mic. Anyway.
No, it's good. And Radolak, roll perception to see if you can see anyone hidden in the shadows.
cast invisibility, by the way.
Okay.
I got a 7, but I'm staring out at the water anyway. So it makes sense that
Yeah.
waiting to hear someone behind me.
All
That's it.
right. So you are invisible. What do you choose to do, Var?
Were you not told to come alone, Radolak?
Is that what? That's what you hear.
Oh. Well, I'm kind of alone. Like, they're over there.
But that's not alone. Anyway, I have a task for you, which gives you information as well, if you want it.
Yeah.
You don't even know what the information is.
That's true. I mean, are we going to play, or are you just going to, like...
But games are fun.
I mean, yeah, but...
How about we take a walk together?
do you come out of hiding?
No?
Oh God.
I mean, I could... I mean, I don't see you.
Just
But
walk back down the dock. It'll be all good. Trust me. I don't lie.
Nah. Right.
What's the worst that can happen?
Do you roll insight, Radolak? When you hear
18.
When you hear, I don't lie, but he's invisible, he's hidden, then you're dealing with, like, possibly the Legion. You're not sure. Like, you know that you're supposed to save your little one, and it seems a little, like, suspicious.
So, who sent you here?
What, you don't know?
I mean, I think we can both tell I'm not particularly bright.
Yeah, I was told that.
Yeah.
Anyway, look. I have a problem. But
Well, you're invisible. That's a problem.
not for me. That's definitely not a problem for me. I mean, the problem is I've completed a task that I need something delivered to a person that you need to talk to.
Right.
Do you think you can do that?
I mean, I can do it, but should I?
Okay, does the name Conrad mean anything to you?
Roll insight. God, Treasure.
15.
You do not know a Conrad.
Doesn't ring a bell. I've met a lot of people lately, though. You seem very confused, Invisible Man.
I'm always confused. It keeps me on my toes.
And then it comes back to you. You do know a Conrad. You worked with someone sort of like named that in the Legion.
Yeah. That's like a whole other life now, but I think I remember, yeah. And Radolak's gonna use magical awareness to see if he can find where this Invisible Man is.
I would say you can say it's a magical. It's a spell you're casting.
Mm-hmm.
So
No. Yeah. Oh, him.
yeah,
Trashy,
him.
yeah.
He's in casting invisibility, so you would see an outline of right where he is.
So I'm gonna grab him.
Try to grapple him?
Yeah.
Strength versus dex.
Just straight decks.
Yeah. Dex. Dex check against strength check.
I'm gonna burn at advantage.
Good for you. Yeah. Did anyone give him advantage? I think Evil did give you an advantage. Oh yeah, but you
I have
already
a, I have
used
a
it.
few. I
Yeah.
have a few.
What'd you get?
10.
11.
Oh. Oh. So you guys upstairs see Radolak grab for something, and nothing's there. That's what you guys are seeing right now. And you do see him talking.
Well, that was very nice. Now, was it?
Sonora's going to cast Dispel Magic at where Radolak tried to grab.
Okay, try and cast at disadvantage because he is invisible, so you have to cast. But you never know.
Actually, Dispel. Where are you?
And at what level? Because it's depends on the level too.
And I'll do it at 4th. Dispel
Okay.
Magic
All
4th.
right.
Which is an automatic.
Yep. I know. I cast it under hold on. All right. Your invisibility goes down.
Does it just dispel that, or is it?
It just dispels the invisibility that you cast.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything else.
See, we can be friends when we can see each other eye to eye.
But I don't like people seeing me.
Well, I'm not a people.
No, you're actually tall. Tall, big, hairy.
Yeah.
Furry. Hairy,
You
furry.
are very purple. I like it.
Hey, this is me. Anyway, so back to business. They're not going to hurt me now, are they?
I mean, I can't promise you anything.
You guys can choose to move forward if you wish. I mean, you guys are free to do what you like.
Sonora's going to yell out, "You need any help, Radolak?"
I think I've got it for now. Thank you.
No worries.
So, Conrad, you say?
That's who my contact is. I think maybe. Or is that who I work for? Could be who I work for. Oh my
You're
god.
not very good at this, are you?
Can I think on
And
that
this
one?
is where Nat walks down and casts Zone of Truth.
Ooh!
Edna's going to set up and knock an arrow.
Oh!
All right, what's the save for that one?
It is a save. Are you casting it around Radolak as well? So you're casting it right where they both are? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So both of you need to make a wisdom save, I believe? Let me look real quick.
Let me look that up. Just pulling it up.
I know we're all looking it up.
Charisma save.
Charisma. Okay.
Now, as Radolak is a friend, he will get the +3 bonus from my aura on saving throws.
Okay. What'd you get, Radolak?
Still only a 9.
Okay. What'd you get, Var?
So what am I meant to cast? Charisma, is it? Yeah. 6.
That's what I got.
So, you know how this works,
D&D Beyond sucks, by the way.
yeah, you know how this works. You need to tell the truth. You don't necessarily have to answer the question perfectly, but you do have to tell the truth. So, Zone of Truth is up for both of you.
So, are you here to help me or your own interests?
That would be both.
Right? And you work for...
Myself, mostly.
Hmm. And who sent you?
That would be Conrad.
Yeah, I vaguely remember Conrad.
Part of the Legion, maybe. Could be.
Yeah, sounds about right. That tracks.
This point, Sonora's going to walk down to the dock. And she's just going to ask a question and say, are you here to hurt Radolak and his family?
No, to save his family.
Which family?
Your family.
Kinda have two.
Who exactly are you helping him save?
His family, that's all I know.
Mm. Family is a complicated thing.
Family, something to do with Legion.
Yeah. So what am I supposed to do?
Well, see, I've got this parcel that needs to be delivered to my boss because it has stuff in it that he needs, not wants, but needs. But you can't open it. I mean, you can open it, but you probably won't like it.
Yeah.
Is it illegal to have this?
Absolutely not.
Is it got anything magical on it? Would my magical awareness pick up anything on the parcel?
Nothing magical. Just a simple box.
What's in the box?
Well, actually,
The wrong-
question.
the wrong move.
Actually, no, Sonora's going to ask what's in the box.
Valuable stuff. Valuable stuff.
Valuable to who?
To my boss. For work that I've done.
What exactly
Var?
is this valuable item that you are thinking? Give me a description
Var?
of what this thing is.
Are you telling the truth? Alright.
Hang on a sec. Hang on.
Because I've actually
You
searched.
do remember that you were asked from Conrad to see if they were worthy of joining.
Yeah,
his-
this is my way of testing that worthiness.
Oh my goodness.
I'm asking for a full description exactly of what is inside the box.
Parcel contents.
Details of what's in it.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You want a detailed description of what's in the box. Well, there's 6 of them, all laid out nicely in a velvet lining.
Mhm. Go on.
They got gold studded piercings on them.
Mhm.
Some are some are pointed, some aren't,
Mhm.
and some may have belonged to people.
Mhm.
Actually, let me rephrase that. All of them belong to someone.
Okay. And what would you call them?
Well, they can't hear you now.
No, I'm talking about what would you call it in the box? What would you call these items in the box? Other than valuable, has to be in a particular name. What are they classified as?
Ears.
Hmm.
Oh.
And whose ears are they?
I can't remember that one.
You've been collecting ears. That's kind of
Marks.
Marks. Gross.
Marks.
How old were they?
No, I don't do children.
Yeah, that's probably for the best.
Very good. Glad to hear that. I'm going to step away and let Radolak finish.
So I gotta take this box of ears to your boss.
Yes.
Why can't you take your box of ears?
I've got other stuff I need to do. And plus, I don't like the Legion.
So why are you working with
He
Conrad?
reached out to me. I'm helping him. Thus, the ears. He has information about your family, so if you take the ears, he'll give you the information.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Var, you know time is of the essence, and if you're not back to report what you think, you are in serious trouble.
Radolak will put out his hand for the box.
I'll put the box in Radolak's hand.
Okay.
But don't open the box.
No, I probably won't open the box.
Gonna whisper to Nate. You know that curiosity killed the cat. Is this gonna kill me?
Gotta
You
pick
could
your
find out.
colleagues, or I don't know. Maybe you're not as horrible as you sound. Probably you are, but
I never said it was horrible.
I mean that's me saying.
Ah.
I mean, cutting people's ears off is like it's a bit.
It was contracts, okay? It's just a job. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, you've done your job here, and maybe my friends will let you go now. What do you reckon?
And with that, I cast darkness, and then Misty Step out of there.
All right.
Dispels darkness at third level. I'll have to roll for it.
As you're rolling,
I know, if he gets away, it's fine.
yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna Misty Step right after, but you can roll to
I just want to get rid of the darkness. So
stay put, Var.
I don't think I've succeeded, but I'm going to find out. All right, dispel magic.
How long does darkness last?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah, no, I don't think I dispel it.
All right.
Misty Step's only 30 feet, which is sort of not very far at the end of a dock.
Yeah, no.
Just saying.
But he might not have went to the end of the dock. He might have went into the shadows or off,
Hang on, can you say?
to a house, abandoned house, and took off.
24-foot stealth, by the way.
Okay. Needs to shove into the cell. You might see a flash of those that are observant of where he might have gone, but you are in darkness right now.
That was a bit rude.
As that's dissipating, we're going to move over to Var. He is a little ahead of time, entering into a cave. And I'm going to need the other person to come in, please, as he goes to report back in to Conrad. It is a dark cave. As you're entering, are you going to call out to see if you hear him? Do you call out Conrad? Var.
Conrad! Hello, Conrad!
What is it for her?
I did that task you wanted.
Which one? I've asked you to do many tasks, and half of them I'm still waiting on.
Oh, they're with Radolak at the moment.
That's not exactly what I asked you to do, but okay.
You wanted me to see if they were worthy or something.
And
So,
what did you find out?
well, they got the box at you. If they delivered to you, I guess they're worthy.
Really?
Don't trust the lion ones though. They're creepy.
Lions?
Yeah. Well, they look like lions.
Well, he is a Minotaur, so it makes sense that he would try to find other animals like himself. But, well, I guess I got exactly what you would call a job successfully done, but I'll let you go this time. I'll have to go check it out myself.
I can come with you if you want.
No.
Ah, you're no fun anymore.
No, I am not. I'm tired.
What does Var see when he looks at Conrad?
A person in a black cloak.
All right.
Is that it?
Yep, I guess. Till next we do business, I guess.
Yeah, now go do the other jobs I set you out to do.
Oh yeah, those. All right. Ta-da for now.
Mm-hmm.
As you have dealt with Var, you know that he is a habitual liar, but necessity befits the means, and you realize if you're going to have to study this group, you're going to have to go in and do it yourself. And that's where we're going to end our session. Lots of guest appearances. So, no combat today since we had a sickie, and the tower is fun. So, we're going to wait till Viffin gets back and take on that tower. Meanwhile, we'll do over favorite moments. Zenora, we'll start at the other end this time.
Well, I have two. One was the puberty has not been kind comment from Radolak. I just love that. That was awesome. And then the combined efforts of Dispel Magic and Zone of Truth. I liked that combination just working together. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that Zone of Truth. That was perfect. Trash was like, shit. Zenithor.
I had a couple myself as well. Ema's wanting to poke fun at the growler. Just waiting for that build to actually come to fruition, because it's gonna happen. Just when. The other one for me was Zenora's mini freak out at understanding what a godmother is.
Yeah. It's a dangerous business. Ema.
Okay, I had both of them. I had Geraldine talking slowly because it's snail. She's a snail. Oh jeez. And someone said, the blacksmith said, when they build a freaking pub in this place.
I know, no pub.
And sends bad haggling.
He's not good at that, yeah. Radolak.
Jesus. Probably Var and Conrad. Var was cool. I was like, oh my god, we're doing stuff, and I was like, it's really thrown for a bit of a loop there, but yeah, it was just great.
We're doing stuff in your backstory, buddy.
Oh man.
Alright, do Var and Conrad have any favorite moments?
Godmother.
You like the godmother?
Yep.
That was a classic.
My one was definitely Drax poking the bear. that was good.
Oh,
I enjoyed
Drax.
that.
Didn't say too much, but when he did, golden.
I have another one that no one's mentioned.
Okay.
Mavina.
Oh, you mean Minerva?
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it's Minerva.
No.
I can't remember, and I'm sitting there going,
Oh,
"Oh, if
actually,
only."
Mavina.
Mavina, yeah.
that was the other one.
The Zero.
When Z said the dragon's name.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what was that?
Come again?
I'm reading it going.
I know. Lots of syllables in there.
I had another couple as well.
Go for it.
Since we went around so quickly,
Yeah.
talking about the people who the ears belong to, and it said they can't hear you now, and then we find out that the ears. So it's like the ears can't hear you now.
That's why I was laughing. I was like, oh, because I knew he wrote me. I was like, oh God.
And when he said don't trust the lion ones, they're creepy. That made me laugh too.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, poor Vilfin's not here. Oh well.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of Var's flaws is constant lying. Isn't that right,
It
Mr.
is.
Sadiq?
Yeah, it was his flaw
Yep,
that he
and
cannot tell the truth ever at all. So, and then Zone of Truth.
And the last time he actually played that, we Zone of Truthed him all the time.
Every time we talked, we Zone of Truthed him. Yeah.
Maybe he's related to Himalaya.
Var was in our home game at home of Dragon of Iceberg Peak. The first one.
So you know that castle where you had all the trolls and all that, and giants.
The Conaberry that you guys didn't go
We
to.
never did that. Yeah, we never did that. But Var lied his ass off. No, don't want to go there. There's hundreds.
Yeah. It ended up being like 15 giants and everything in there because he lied. The moment I heard the female death, I was like, oh, I'm going to say, oh crap. Oh crap.
Must admit, when you said there was a female blacksmith or dwarf blacksmith, I went, I bet you
I know.
anything that's Wilfin's
I
wife.
saw your face the whole time. I was like, ah, she knows. So we will see. That's a lot happened. I mean, it wasn't a combat situation because you guys had 2 combats last time, but there was a lot of stuff happening if you look back. So you got a lot of places to cover, and you got a lot of information from this one. So the tower will probably be next. I'm gonna